The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions, and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
You're live.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Now I can, yes.
Okay, great. You scared me, thank you. Okay, we're going live?
You're on. You're live.
Okay, great. So, good evening, everybody. This is Irina, and Behind the Velvet Rope with Irina from Atlanta. Great Friday to everyone. And I have a wonderful guest today, Irina Munger.
Munger.
Munger. Irina Munger. I was
Yes.
practicing before show.
Oh, yes. Hi, Irina. How are you?
I'm great. So we're live from Atlanta, and Irina is here kindly agreed to share her expertise with us. So tell us a little bit about yourself. So what do you do?
What do I do? I am originally come from China. So I live here for 15 years. I moved here in 2013. I am a CFO of a company here called High Powered Help. And I am also a marketing strategist. I help business implement software. We do customizations of software. We develop a website, app. We basically walk into a company or small business. We look at their workflow and then see what part that we can implement. Or we can do the automations. It means like we can let the computer do the work. Mm-hmm. So it increases the productivity for the company.
Yes, so for all of us who are in business entrepreneurs, influencers, artists, I think it's very important nowadays to customize and create the social media strategy.
Yes.
And that's exactly what you do. You're a specialist
Yes.
on branding, on managing the brand and managing their social media. So, and you help us to make it automatic because by the way, guys, those who listening us to the radio, Irina is a gorgeous lady.
Oh, thank
if
you.
If you've been to our page, you saw her pictures. So I highly recommend you not just to listen to us, but also look at us.
Oh.
And you can find us on Facebook by putting into search Behind the Velvet Rope with Irina. Irina is spelled Irina. Mm-hmm. It's a Russian spelling. So Behind the Velvet Rope with Irina. And you'll see us live on Facebook right now. So send us your likes, your love, your comments, your questions. Irina here is a very valuable resource for everybody who is trying to develop their business, to improve their marketing right now, and we'll be sharing a lot of important information today. So once again, find us on Facebook Live and join us over there so you can comment with your questions as well. So Irina and I, we met through some of the models. One of my recent guests, a model who, do you help Hanson?
Hanson, yes, in so many ways. He's such a young model and just came out, but he's kind of like a Asian American mix.
Right.
Yeah, the feature, when I know his mom kind of pretty well. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, like, the Chinese community is very tight here in Atlanta. We do a lot of social events together. Almost it's like if you're in business, everybody. Mm-hmm. So I kind of watch how Hanson grow up, from a kid, develop into a young, growing, successful model. Yes. Like I watched the whole way he was growing. So until recently, he just did a video with Nicki Minaj. Yes. I know. I'm like, yay!
So yes, it's amazing. Right. And I think Hanson is a great example of how if branding and marketing done right, how your career can actually propel and develop so quickly.
Absolutely.
So I have a question for you.
Sure.
So many artists and actors, they're not concerned with that side of their business, but nowadays you pretty much pushed to make sure that you engage in your followers and you engage in your, you are very visible on the social media. And I know from my example, this show is a result of me being on social media.
Exactly.
Our producers from Boston, Joe, hi. So thank you so much for reaching out one day and giving me this opportunity. And there are so many, examples when you actually cast on social media. But I know there are ways of doing social media correctly and incorrectly. It can be very damaging for you in the long run, because every time people are searching for you and your drunken video from the lost comes out, it might be not such a good idea, to post it. So what is the right way for businesses, entrepreneurs, and artists to do the social media? What should they start and what should they keep in mind when they're doing that?
That's a really good question. I actually wanted to talk a little bit about, like, before you even put yourself on social media marketing, what are the things that you should prepare prior, like, explore yourself. There are certain things that you need to consider. For me, over the years, I found out very important components of the marketing is you differentiate who you are first. So in our terms, we call it USP. A lot of people doesn't know what it means. It means unique selling proposition. It means what's the difference make you different between you and other competitors or other people in the same industry. In another word, if you are actor or actress, you're a model, whoever you are, definitely, like, in your career is set up a certain expectation. People have it for you. But when you become a target, on the social media platform, what makes you so unique and different from everybody else? In another word, like, you can't satisfy with all of the audience, and that's just human nature. You can't make everybody happy. So what sets you different? Personality wise, your look, your certain the way that you dress, or certain things that you do. When people look at you, they can identify. Like, oh my gosh, that's you. That's very unique. So, before you put yourself out there to the market, you kind of have to, like, what we do is we sit down, we do the marketing plan. Like, we actually write out, the USP, the unique selling proposition. So we kind of like mold you, we build this avatar. You heard the phrase avatar. Yes. So who is the avatar you are targeting for? What kind of image you want to put in front of your audience?
How is it different from branding? Because we as actors, we talk about creating your own brand, and it's more connected to the roles you're cast and what's unique about you. For example, I'm a Russian American actress, so it's a part of my brand. So how is this USP, unique selling proposition, is different from branding? Is it a part of
It's part of the branding. Okay. Yes, absolutely. Now, branding package can be broad. It means, well, when we talk about branding package for products or certain industry, you can say, your color, your font, it's a very specific way. A lot of big company, they spend millions of dollars. They're testing out the market and they finding out what works for their target audience. So for us, as a model, an actress, an actor, it's the same way. People need to forget about who we are, but in order to engage with your audience and your customer, you have to finding out what do they want. So basically, like, you're providing the things that they want, they like, and at the same time still being authentic and being who you are. So that's a very hard thing to do. You don't want to lose who you are, but you want it to be unique. Does that make sense?
So you want to be unique, but at the same time, it has to be something that people
genuine. Yeah, don't lose who you are. Don't ever change, to somebody that you're not, or you're trying so hard. Because when it's forced onto your audience, it's totally not natural, and people kind of like, step back. and they're like, it doesn't relate to them.
Right.
Yeah. So you want to find that common, area. It is, it is unique to yourself, and you are at the same time very authentic. It's just genuine from the bottom of your heart. That's who you are.
And I think in acting, the way it's applicable, sometimes, we are have a certain type as an actor, but then we still want to be different enough, because you're not just a tall brunette, right?
Right.
You're trying to find something what makes you different from the rest of the brunettes in the industry,
right?
Pretty much. So what is so unique for you? So you talking about doing all that little preparation, not little, it's probably the major preparation work before you even go into social media.
Yes.
So what should people do who already kind of establish their presence? They open the Instagram account, they open the Facebook account, Twitter account, and is there a way back to actually kind of give it more thought and make it more organized and more strategic?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's actually the planning, going behind the scene. So, before you put yourself out there, you need to think about, we talk about the USP, and then you need to know your customer base. You know them well too, because in the end, it's all about sales, right? Yeah, you want to sell, but at the same time, you don't want to force onto it. It's like a natural. It's just a relationship. How naturally relationship formed. Like you're building up the story. You're creating something every day that is interesting to people. So that's why, like when you put yourself out there, you kind of need to watch out the image you're yes, you're establishing. So, there, like I did some do's and don'ts, for every image that you're putting on the social media, it needs to be a good quality image. If it's like the cell phone these days, they're so convenient, you can just click, and you don't think twice about it. But when you look at some of the really successful marketing people, their social media, everything is on purpose. There's not a single one of them image they put it out there and didn't think twice about it and say, even like the image they're playing with their kids, or they're out about, they're saying, hey, this water is so cute, but like everything they do is for a purpose.
Right. This is a product placement, or adding to your brand, or creating a certain image.
Right, certain images. So the quality of the image is really like crucially important. Yes.
So even when we as actors, we're doing this kind of behind the scene selfies, on set, which we shouldn't do, because we often say, sign non-disclosure agreements, but still, there are ways where people, snap the pictures here and there. You need to be careful about that. When in major productions, all very well coordinated, and you have photographers on set, but even if you are not on that level yet, I think what you're saying is just put some thought of it, make it intentional.
Right. Intentional, with a purpose.
Not just sit in the car and, make a selfie while you're staying on the traffic light, right?
Yes.
Think about what you're what are you trying to convey with that? What's the goal of that selfie?
Right. Just surround yourself with the environment is uplifting, and always be watch out, like who you are, like your tribe, your group of people, what kind of group are you with? If you are like a public figures, when you take a picture with people, like you can tell from the publicity, like sometimes, people put certain groups and people together, and they're very certain about who their image with together.
Who is it appealing
to? Appealing to. Okay. Yeah. But at the same time, you want it to be real as well. So every now and again, you have like a real people with you. Just, to the certain level. If you are a model, you're surrounded by all this beautiful model, but don't forget, at the end of the day, you're still a human being. Like we still sleep, eat, all these daily activities. So be real. That's like all the message I can come across this talk is just, yes.
So it may be kind of confusing for some people, because we say do everything intentional,
right?
But at the same time, show real yourself, you.
Yes,
that's an interesting balance.
It's an interesting concept, yes, because at the end of the day, behind all these lights, action, all the glamorous. In the end of the day, we're all humans. In this world, it's colorful, but at the same time, it's like real life. So
Right.
don't forget, where you originally come from. What's the purpose for life? Yeah, so just be yourself. And that's what attracts people.
So how would be a social media for individual be different from the social media for a business, let's say small business?
Huge difference. Huge, absolutely huge difference. So that's why these days the media platform they created, like they help you so many ways that you can separate out your personal page versus your business. When it comes to business, it's like everything is professional. Everything, like you said, with a purpose. But, personal life, we have family, we have personal life, we have fun, we have pain, we have all of this, interesting things going on. It reflects who you are and, your hobbies and your friends, all of this. So, people checking people out and they cross-reference.
Right.
You know how like these days, like the employer when they hiring, and they go on social media and they look at your lifestyle.
Yes.
It's
absolutely.
crazy. Yes. Yeah, it's totally different. From years ago, like people don't do this, and of course the resources is limited. And now these days, it's like everything is image.
So yeah, if you made your boss your friend on Facebook, and then you posted some pictures from clubbing at night.
Right.
And then you called in the morning and said, "Oh,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm feeling really bad."
Yes.
Your boss probably already seen your pictures on Facebook.
Right. Yeah. So be
Do not
careful.
attempt.
Yes.
It's actually a real life story. I've seen people do that.
Right.
No, like, what were you thinking when you made your boss a friend?
Right.
Well, at least, when you share and separate, this is for group of friends. This is, goes public for everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you were kind enough to tell us that you will give us an advice. So, what are the do's for social media and for branding yourself, and what are the don'ts?
Okay. Yeah. First of all, the consistency.
Okay.
Okay. So when you brand yourself, if you have like a logo, if you have somebody created this branding package for you, most of the time you see people like kind of they change colors, so it will look dark here, it will look light there. It's all over the place. Your logo is up and it's down. At some places it may like have an orange in there, some places it may have a gray in there, but that's part of the small mistakes people make. Like when you do the branding, like when you set your main color, if you do have a logo, do it consistent. So it doesn't matter where it is, you use it on social media, off social media, like on the traditional marketing. But it always needs to look exactly the same. So that's why when people see it and they can realize they can have that brand recognition, it's like, oh, I've seen that. It's exactly the same. So that's the consistency. And the other thing is the authentic post. I talk about a little bit about that. Good quality image. That we cover that too. And the videos. Okay, so I want to talk about this. The attention span these days for people are really bad. Like,
right.
Especially the new generation. We're constantly on the phone all the time. But guess what? Like, when people see something, it actually just like you have about 10 seconds. 2 to 10 seconds that you can catch somebody's attention.
Oh, yeah, we know that.
Right. And then we actually did a split test in my marketing. And videos are the ones these days that has the 8 times higher viewing rate than just image. So creating video that lasted from 15 seconds to 1 minute actually more attracting to people, more appealing to audience as well.
Just pictures.
Than just pictures. Because pictures, what do? You swipe, and it's done. But if you have an interesting video and caught people's attention and they want to know what's going on.
Right.
Yes, so that's like a big hit right now. So we just recently did one split test for my customers, and then the result came out. It's like, oh, wow, interesting. So that's what we need to do for our customer. We need to create more video content.
I see.
Yes.
Well, and thank you so much, guys, for joining us on Facebook. Like, hello, Aziz, hello, Jesse, hello, Natalia. So, you guys, if you have questions, please ask Erica, because she has very valuable information for which I'm sure she charges a lot of money.
Thank you.
Yes. You know, if she takes a private clients, and you do take
we do.
private clients.
We do. Yeah, actually, most of our clients, they are private clients, and they're word of mouth, just by referrals. And sometimes, we met people in social network events and then become clients, and everybody these days needs, social marketing management, and that's what we do. We specialize.
So for actors, for example, or, influencers, at what point do you think they need to hire a professional? How far can they go on their own, or do you recommend to do it from the very start? What do you think
actually, not from very start, very beginning, because we want people to explore and experience the social media power. So it's in the beginning, with a purpose, you can test out. You do a little bit of this, you do a little bit of that, and you figure out. You watch the interaction that your customer, because when you throw something out there, it's kind of like a play ball. I use this to demonstrate the relationship between you and your customer. You throw a ball out, and you want them to toss you back. So that's the marketing. Is you want to have an interaction with your audience. When you post something, when you wanted to express yourself, you watch what interaction, what feedbacks they give it back to you. Some posts that you can hit like 100, 200 likes, some posts like 1 or 2 people like. Then you kind of get the idea. If I just randomly post a banana, okay, nobody is paying attention. But if I'm going to an event, I'm like hanging out with a whole bunch of, really fabulous people. We're having a great time. We're doing the little bit of video posting, and then they want to see what's going on. And then you got a lot of audience. So in the beginning, I would say, build up your client base, build up your audience. And when you hit, a couple thousand customer, and then you grow, and you grow slowly. And that's another thing I want to talk about is the organic growth. Right. Yes. These days it's crazy because you can, I'm sure, we've all seen it. You can spend a certain amount of money and you can get, the list, like thousands of followers.
It was actually very interesting to me because, I'm from Russia, and I actually saw that they have the ATM machine for likes and followers. So you can basically come to ATM machine, deposit, I don't know, $20, and buy yourself 1,000 likes,
100,000
or 100,000 of followers.
Exactly, it's crazy.
And I'm growing my personal, following, and it's a slow process if it's an organic. You have to be really consistent, as you said. It has to be interesting for people to actually tune in and, look at your page, look at your pictures. It's a lot of work involved.
It is.
And so many people
are
choosing, the easy way. Okay, let me go. And there's so many apps nowadays, especially for people trying to build influence, where they exchange likes, and this game of people liking and following you and then unfollowing you the 3 days later. It's very,
that's why on Instagram you see the number goes up and down, and you wonder why people unfollowing me. That's exactly. So it's come back to the basic, like, do you want a quantity or do you want a quality? So you can have a huge number of followers, but that's the key thing. If you don't do anything, you are not engaged with them, then the number just a number. And if you do have 200, 300, 500 followers, but they are like we call it your groupies. Like, doesn't matter what you do, they just, from their bottom heart, they love you. They care for you,
they can relate
they can relate to you. So when you throw a ball and they catch it and they hit it back to you, and that's a good interaction. So when you offer, you talk about your life, you talk about what's going on, and then when you say, hey, I really like this product, and guess what, and they see it, they're gonna ask you, where did you get that? I want what you have. And that's a very organic, very authentic interaction, and that is like, actually you can make the actual income with your audience. So it's really important. So I encourage people not just looking at the number of the followers, it's actually about what you do with it. You
Right.
know, yeah. And here's the funny thing is because 80% of the people, they're followers, and only 20% they're leaders. So when it's online on social media, it's all about what we call the call to action. You need to give people clear direction and even sometimes steps to direct them how to do things with you. Because if you just lay out, you say, oh, I have a restaurant, come and eat. They're like, okay, great, it's there. Has nothing to do with me. But if you say, hey, we're giving out this gift card, you know, it's $50 and there's 3 steps, you can get this, you know, this gift card. And number 1, you're going to like us. Number 2, you're going to tag a friend. Number 3, you're going to do this. And like, that's a human brain. When you give them clear instruction what to do, they're like, oh, I had a conquer like task I need to do. That's my homework. So they do 1, they do 2, they do 3, and then they can get it. But if you just lay out there like, oh, we're here, and then you don't say like, what's the call of action? They don't know how to interact with you. So that's like really important on social media as well.
I see. So what are the things you shouldn't do?
Okay. Crazy.
Let's try
Right.
to avoid the mistakes.
Yes. Okay. So, like I said, low quality image, you know, random things like people like drama at the same time, you know, you just kind of be careful what kind of drama you put it out there.
Right. So
you always want to have a positive message. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. They don't want to know your relationship, your personal relationship. You broke up with this person, you got in a hookup with that person. Like that kind of drama is like, please. Yes. We're not kids anymore. Yes.
Yeah.
And then never make your audience feel bad about themselves. Yeah. Like people don't think about it because sometimes you like leave a comment and then it's very often happen. You see like a war going on social media.
Yeah.
You get into this debate. Like that's, be careful with these. Like people go on social media, they have no intention of coming online and talking to a stranger. All of a sudden become like a huge debate. It's like, and then it turns into a war. And then you got 2 sides of people. All of a sudden friends become enemy. That's
Right.
like terrible.
Unfriendly.
Right. So sometimes
Unfriendly
silence
stuff.
is golden. You know, like we heard that phrase.
Right.
Yeah. So avoid those kind of conflicts. Yeah. Always post positive, you know, encourage people, showing love. You know, when people like something, you know, tell them thank you, you appreciate them, you know, I just so much love. And then people slowly, they grow on you.
Yeah, and I think it means a lot when it's a personalized response because, you know, oh my gosh, I got a response from Khloe Kardashian or, you know, like, I don't know, you know, people feel very excited when you actually interact with them. And I know it doesn't matter how many followers you have, but that personal interaction, the personal saying thank you for something they commented, I think it goes a long way.
Right.
And at the same time, as you said, it's an interesting, you know, area. For example, if you are such a public couple and you go in divorce, should you make an announcement about that? Because I was just reading Kendra and her husband, you know, Kendra on top, they just got divorced and she posted, you know, a public, you know, announcement about that. And I'm thinking, okay, was that intentional kind of response or was it just something she's doing on her own? Would you recommend something like that? Because, you know, many people said that it's contributed to actually their relationship falling, you know, kind of breaking up because it's so hard to be in a public eye all the time. You know, people who do a reality show out of their life, most of the time, those couples end up in a divorce.
I know,
and it's very unfortunate.
Yes.
I mean, it takes a lot of work, and it's a huge strain to put your, you know, personal life into public eye. I think. So.
I think that's really is just like it's depend, you know, on different situations. It's depending on who they are. If they want to put themselves out there and talk about their personal life, you know, their relationship, I mean, we have, like, as an audience, we just respect what they do. But, you know, for me to say, like, that's what I was talking about is having that positive feed on your own page that's what you wanted to do for yourself. Like, the worst thing you want is to get into the war, like, on social media. Then the other thing I do want to mention about is the options. Okay, so when you when you do social media promotions, campaigns and stuff like that, be clear with every single image and should deliver only one purpose. That's kind of
one call of action.
Right, one call of action. Well, not just a call of action. It's like you want to give out a clear options to your audience. Most of the time, people think the more I tell my audience, the more the better. It's actually the opposite way. The less confusion you give it to them, the higher conversion rate you will get.
I see.
Yes, because what happened on your phone, you have those advertisements, you see a beautiful dress, right? They popped up on your phone. You're like, oh, I really like that dress, I want to get it. And you click on that dress, it goes to a website, and you go to the website and there's like another 200 dresses to show up. What do?
You forget about the first dress.
Exactly. Exactly. You're like, oh, I like this, I like that, I want this, I want that. And then you're like, wait a minute, I need an accessory. Oh, wait a minute, they have cute shoes. All of a sudden you get so confused and you forgot originally what you come here for.
Well, you can might end up buying more. Right. Or might end up buying nothing,
Right, exactly. Yes. And then you're like, oh, something happened. I have to do this later on. Right. And you're like, that's what everybody says. I'll come back later. But reality is, no, they're not coming back later. Everything is now. So with a clear purpose, don't confuse, don't give your audience too many options. One. Yeah.
And we have a question from Jessica Dean. Thank you so much for joining us. So here's a question. What is the best way to brand and get more exposure besides using Facebook Boost, for example?
Well, I think the platform right now, we have Instagram, we have Twitter, and what other ways. I think it's all about the activity you're doing. You engage with your customer. The more you show people that your life interesting events happening, I think the more engaged you will have with your audience.
And I think you mentioned that live videos.
Yes.
Short live videos
the
are
live
actually
videos.
The highest response.
Yes.
And I was actually listening recently to some webcast about social media, and they were saying that right now the algorithms on Facebook are changing.
Yes.
And it's very important to have a consistent live videos as a part of the marketing program.
Yes.
Marketing campaign.
Yes. So, and the other thing I want to mention about real quick is interesting thing that right now on Facebook and Instagram we have those stories on, believe it or not, stories are very attractive to people now because they're quick, they're just few seconds, and they're very interesting because on the story a lot of people can do is they put all these little stickers and the what is it called, the GIF, like the GIFs, like there's really cute little things going on that you can edit. It's almost like a little 2-3 seconds, a little short video, but it's clips of the moments, and that's what interesting people, because if you look at the numbers, logistics, you can see they're like you're slowly growing. In the beginning you may have 20 people watching, and then the next day if you're consistently posting it, the number doubles it.
Hundreds of people,
especially on Facebook or Instagram, you already have a couple thousand followers, and then you will find out this is a great way. And then plus, if you use tag, at the event, at the people, or at whatever the name brand you're doing, and they actually click on that and they go into other people's page, and that generates more and more people. So the hashtag actually works. Yes, but be careful how many hashtags you put it in there. Like we usually limit it, if you can do like 3 to 4, that's actually better. More than that is like that's a waste. Yeah, because you're sitting here, you can spend like 10 minutes doing hashtags, but when people click on that, they only click on that 3 to 4 of them. So really, it's like that's most people want just 3 or 4. You can do a hashtag, and that will related story, and they can go into, and that'll generate more.
And I think the stories also, everybody on your timeline will get an alert.
Yes.
Put in the stories, so you can't miss it.
You can't, right? And especially if you go live, and they send a notification, And if somebody really like you, they can turn on the notification. So every time you're going live, it shows up on your phone. And even your live events already finished, they can always go back, when they have it on their own time, and they can check it out. It's really powerful.
Yeah. But I think back to you saying that do it the quality ones, it's nothing worse when you tune in and then somebody's just like adjusting the phone and it's like you see the ground and you don't even know what's going on. You lost me in the first 30 seconds.
I think people are texting now. What works what's not these days.
Well, it sounds sometimes like a bot dial TV.
Right.
It's like, okay, what happened? You told me to watch your story, but all I see is the footsteps and, somebody's running somewhere. What's going on? Like, are you in danger? What happened?
Yeah, and then one more last thing I want to share is that, real humans, I mentioned this, sometimes it's like, oh, happy, like we're having fun time, you got life, exciting things, but every now and again, like painful moments. And that's what people is like, they really, really engage with your audience. I'm not saying like constantly creating these kind of drama, but what I'm saying is, if you have like a really hard time during the day, like, work-wise or personal life, and you genuinely like wanted people to help you, and sometimes if you're speaking loudly, and people respect that too, and then you will get more interaction with your audience as well.
Right.
Yeah, so they relate that to, to the pain. Yes, so those are the, the do's and the don'ts.
I see. Well, so what should the people do? For example, somebody is not good in social media. They're just thinking about, well, I'm forced to do it as an artist or as an actor to sell my art, to be noticed by the casting director. So I'll start my business. I realize I have to do that. So what would be the process? Maybe a step-by-step, quick outline for people, how they can do it effectively.
Okay. Yeah, that's a really good question. First, I want to encourage people to start building up their personal branding. Like before you hit the official social media platform, and like I said, because things is like this. Every day is a little like a step by step. If you started from today, because a lot of people think, oh, social media is such a wasting time. I just don't have time to sit here. But as every day your daily activity goes on, and if you do it, at that moment for like few minutes, it actually doesn't, like it builds up. You see what I'm saying? So, if you go to a restaurant or if you go to an event, you meet somebody really interesting quickly. I mean, this is part of, promotion you want to do. That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people, if they, like this is not their piece of cake and they don't want to do this, sure, I mean it's personal choice, but quickly snap a picture and ask permission, and if I can post this on my social media, and most of the time people are okay with it. So you do your story, and I suggest average every day if you can do 3 to 4 posts and build up that consistency. So 3 to 4 posts on Instagram and Facebook because they're linked, and then do 2 like stories a day. Like morning and night. I mean, everybody has that time.
Is as a particular platform a more efficient versus another one? Because I know some people love Twitter. It took me a long time to get on Twitter. I'm just starting it out because I felt like I have to limit myself with whatever number of letters. And
yes.
It felt like a very limited platform to me.
Right. Twitter is has a unique audience. Yeah, so you have to do your market research and see if that fits your audience needs or not. Younger people generally, they're on Snapchat and Instagram. Facebook starts slowing, like a phase out, because I think it just, the duration is like being so long, and there's so many people on there, and the technology is a little behind, and the things that you can do. And if you pay attention these days, the Facebook start catching up. They do the story, they do the live stream, but not as fun as Instagram and Snapchat. So I think the younger generations, they towards more Snapchat and Instagram,
Right.
and the older ones, a little bit older ones, and they still prefer checking Facebook platform. The Twitter is just, for me, I think it's more, and LinkedIn, they're more professionally, like a business, because it's not about picture image, it's about, announcing some information, yes, and thoughts and opinions.
Well, you know what? The reason why I actually got on a Twitter as an actor, because it's a great way to connect with casting directors. It's a great way to connect with producers, because people notice when you like somebody's tweets, and then notice when you retweeting them. And if you do it very consistently, that's one of the ways to get on the map of those people. So, for example, I have some TV shows in mind which I desperately trying to be a part of. So what I'm doing, I'm finding, okay, who is casting them, who is producing them, who is,
that's the beauty.
Who are the stars in that show, and I'm connecting with them
directly
through Instagram, through Twitter, through Facebook even. But Twitter is a very fast and easy way to connect.
It
That's
is.
what I noticed. And
it is.
And I actually got that advice from some managers in LA, and I actually saw it in action. It does work. So don't disregard. I think different platforms are for different
usage.
purposes.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question too. Does it make sense to put the same message across the platform? For example, I'm sharing the same image and the same message on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at the same time, or should you
please don't do
customize that?
Yes, that's just tiring.
It's tiring.
Yes,
I think it's kind of boring for everybody who follows you on different channels.
Exactly. That's very time consuming, and it's like, people see you once, they see the same image, and then they cross, different platform, and they see it all over. They don't want to see that. But like that falls back to the uniqueness. So you want to be like Twitter. You have your own purpose of using that. So I don't suggest like cross all 3 or 4 of them.
So it's not the way the consistency should be applied. Right. Consistency should be in your branding and general message, but try to post different pictures, different stories, and different moments and different platforms.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm getting it, because I was making that mistake. I would just put the same picture, copy and paste across.
Well, they have these buttons and choices now these days. Like when you post one, like they all link it to Twitter and Facebook or Instagram. So it's easier for you to do it, but it's actually for your audience, it's not really good. Because the other thing is, like, on Instagram, if you do hashtag and they don't show up correctly in Facebook, it just looks like a whole bunch of like tags on Facebook.
Yeah, so whatever works for Instagram doesn't work for Facebook.
Exactly.
Because Facebook is not very hashtag oriented like Instagram is.
Right.
Okay, so back to our steps, how to create your efficient social media. So you said, think about your brand and prepare your brand and package. How do you actually test it? What works or what doesn't work?
We use campaigns. It's like we use Aspen. Let me give you an example, okay? Yes, so you have a graphic designer made a logo for you. It has a certain color, texture, font, and then what we can do is, depending on the industry you are in, we have to relate it to that kind of audience. So a good example will be, for instance, if we create a logo for a restaurant, and then we want to test it in that area. We can use the geographic, targeting. We can set up, like if this is for, you have more female coming in, and then we can set up the age group, in a certain age group, and then throughout the week, we can create ad span and pop it out in their Facebook account or their Instagram account. Like, ask the questions, like number 1 and number 2, which one you will go, or number 1 or number 2, which one you will eat, things like that, just to get engaged with your audience. And they will, it's a 2 seconds opinion, feedbacks.
Okay.
But people will take time, and you'll be surprised. They will tell you, they will respond. Yes. But the thing is, we can't do all the time. but it has to there's a rate that you can hit in certain amount of people that you can reach out in the same industry, and they, on LinkedIn, they can see it and they say, okay, I like this versus I like that. They will give you feedback for that. That's kind of like, you spend small amount of money doing the research ahead of time and deliver the products and to your customer what they want, instead of you think this is going to work for them. Yeah, that's the most mistake people making is, oh, I like this, I'm going to buy 1,000 of them and then I'm going to go try to sell them. Versus, why don't we spend $200 and test and see if your audiences actually need that stuff, or they will buy it from you and they will tell you exactly what color they want and how much they want us to spend on the product. And then later on you can say, okay, my customer like blue cell phone case, and the man like black one, women like pink one, and exactly the size, whatever it is, and they can then you can go out and you say, okay, I'm going to purchase this product and then come back and sell it.
Yeah, so there's so many businesses, because you like it, it doesn't mean that everybody else,
the market has the needs for that,
or they really want that,
right?
When it comes to small businesses. So how does social media is connected to your website? Do you really need website nowadays?
Oh gosh, I cannot stretch enough. Website, everybody has a website, but not a lot of people understand the useful of a website. Most of the business, they think a website is the information platform. Well, I'm just going to throw out, my company information, what do we do, the service we provide, contact information. But other than that, actually, a good website is everything for your business. And let me tell you why. Because the function that you put it in the website is what makes you profit. Okay, so let me explain this. We want to direct, if you think about all the funnels, all the social media is a funnel. So Facebook is a funnel, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, everything is a funnel. So if we can link all of them into one pipe, direct all the traffic back to your website. And then on your website, remember I was talking about the interaction, you throwing the balls with your customer and have the feedback. So you need to generate, first of all, you need to have a tracking system. This is what sets the difference, because a lot of people like to come in, do promotions. But if you don't have a system set up to tracking all the numbers, you're just basically throwing out all of the money for your marketing. And because you don't know if you spend $1, if you can get $2 back. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So on the website, so we have the back end, have the tracking system set up, and then you need to have engaged with your customer. Means you have some sort of form, have them fill out their name, email address. If you're selling certain products and you want to know their age group, their gender, whatever, have them fill it out. And then later on, you can do email campaign, you can do geographic campaign, you can do, whatever the campaign you want to put together, and then you can actually do these things directly with your customer.
And it's also applicable to individuals, right?
Yes,
if you are just
absolutely.
An influencer or artist or actor, you still want to know who the people who respond to you as a brand are.
Right.
So you
in the end, it's all about you're either providing service or you're selling products, right? Yeah. If you're actor, actress, you're providing service. You want people book you, right? Yeah. And if you don't have service and you have a product, you want to sell it. So it's the same way. You want to have that engagement, interaction. So you want to collect your customers' database. Yeah, you want them to leave you their contact information. And then I want to mention a really good way these days, because I know email campaign works before, and now these days, believe it or not, the text message.
The message. Okay.
Text message. Yes, text message is really powerful, because that's like a short, and then they can, because everybody's on the phone. You get it in a second, and they can do yes, no, simple questions, and they can text you back and react to. It's like a real interaction. Yes. Yeah, with permission too, because obviously when you have their phone number texting, they already give the permission to you to use it. Yes, so use that wisely. So it's a really, really great way, very efficient. for marketing.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is a website is, while you're doing all this on social media, your ultimate goal is to bring people to your website.
Yes, because once you get your audience back on the website, we can use the Google Analytics to tracking all the interaction. You can see exactly how long this customer been on your website, where they click on, and the duration they're on, and what are they looking at. If you have a button say booking this, and they spent 2 minutes on there, and then they left. And that tells you something. So marketing is kind of like I always often use this example. It's a machine. Okay, it's ultimately it's a machine. You're taking it to the part and pieces. So every piece you tweak a little bit. Okay, this campaign I set up for a week, and I threw it out there, and I get the numbers back. And I take a look at, I study my number. Okay, so, and then if this doesn't work, I throw this part away. I move on to next part. So don't try to do things all at once. So ultimately, you wanted to have every single part of a machine, they're all working individually and put it together, and the machine can move forward. So that's the power of the website can do for you.
And I see, and I'm sure it sounds pretty complicated for many people. So
yes, that's why.
That's when people, professionals like you, are coming who can actually take care of that social media branding and managing your reputation. It's something that you do. And when you happen to mess up and I don't know, take a selfie in the bathroom or something, make sure that it doesn't happen again. But so, how can they find you? Do you have a website?
Yes. I made it really simple. My website is just hph.io. .io is the input-output. It's for, the...
And we'll definitely share this information on our page behind the Velvet Rope with Irina. And I know you also doing, besides this work part, you also love to travel. And you're actually doing something for fun. You're taking people back to China, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you're organizing right now?
Yes. That's what I originally come from China. So, in the last 15 years, whenever I mention, and people, the first thing they do is like, oh, China is on my bucket list, I want to go. So this September I finally have the opportunity, and I collaborate with the biggest travel agency in China that we're taking people, a group of business people, for pleasure and business of going back to China. But that information I will post it later with all the details.
And everybody who's planning to travel to China and who has it on their bucket list, I would definitely recommend, because as I was telling you earlier,
you want to go with somebody they know where to go, where to eat. They know it's going to be safe. It makes such
a big difference when somebody speaks the language and knows all the culture, and all the places that you can visit. And China is an amazing country. Like we were there in November and very shortly, just for 9 days. But I was so blown away with Shanghai, how gorgeous that city was, and Beijing. There's so much history in there, and I'm sure you guys, if you have a chance, you should definitely travel. So what's your countries on your bucket list? Where are you going besides China?
Oh my gosh. I would love to go to Spain. Yes, in Barcelona. It's and Greece.
I've been to Barcelona. I haven't been to Greece yet.
Yes, Spanish. There's something about it. It's a really attractive. I want to check out. Oh, the other place is Israel, because I'm a Christian, and I just that's a dream place. With all of the history, and I want to go search and find out all of the things that happened in Israel. I think when finally I'm there, I want to get baptized there. It's again. That's a dream trip to go.
Well, I hope you go. Unfortunately, it's not always as stable as we wanted to be, but it's definitely a beautiful place. We were there in January, I think.
Wow.
Yes, and it feels like I was kind of concerned with with safety and everything, but luckily everything was perfectly organized, and it's amazing country. It's in such a short distance. There's so much variety, and so much history. So you'll definitely have lots of fun. I'll need you to get all those pictures shared.
Yes, I will. Yeah, I'm a world traveler. That's my goal.
We work hard to play hard.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, so guys, I hope it was informative. Erica shared a lot of information with us, how we can utilize social media and make our businesses, and our brands more successful. Okay, so we have another quick question from Jazza. Thank you for being such paying attention. So you're saying, how about for those who don't have Facebook but are on Instagram instead? Is it still working?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Instagram audience is huge. Yes, it's for the little bit younger generation, but trust me, it's very powerful. Utilize the platform, do what I said, and
so it's all applicable to either Facebook or the Instagram, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So the same short videos. I think Instagram also has that.
Yes,
the short stories and everything.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's applicable to both Facebook and Instagram.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for all your questions, guys, and thank you, Erica, for sharing this important information with us. I hope you guys learned something and enjoyed the show. And we'll see you next Friday. I have another amazing guest coming up, and we'll have lots of fun next Friday. Thank you so much, Erica.
Thank you, Irina. Thank you for the opportunity.